Welcome to Working with Big Data in Python. My name is Alex Rutherford. I am currently a research scientist at MIT in the Media Lab working on issues of how humans and computers can interact. I have about 10 years of Python experience, and that comes from doing postdoctoral research on AI and also working as a data scientist with the United Nations. I'm a very enthusiastic Python user, having tried lots of different tools and frameworks, and I always encourage people to enter that rich ecosystem of libraries and tools and community that is around Python. If you want to know more about me, you can check out my website, alexrutherford.org. I tweet and blog quite regularly, so feel free to interact with me on those channels. I'll give a brief overview of the course. This is basically split between teaching you the fundamentals of Spark and MongoDB, and also showing you how these can be used in real-world applications. In Section 1, we cover unstructured data and no-SQL databases, such as MongoDB, and compare these to SQL and other relational type databases. In the second section, we will look at PyMongo. This is the API for interacting with MongoDB databases from Python, and it allows you to pull data from a database into your Python code. Section 3 is our first example of a real data science pipeline, and that is looking at weather data and how we can query data from an API, put it into a MongoDB database, and execute queries from Python to extract data from that database. Section 4 introduces Spark as a very powerful distributed computing framework for large data sets, and in particular how we can work with data that's stored in MongoDB from Spark. Then in the final section, we look at a second example of Reddit data, and we basically put together everything we've learned about Spark and MongoDB to do analysis on this data set from the Reddit platform. There's only really one prerequisite for this course, and that is that you should know Python to a reasonable level. That said, there are a handful of other pieces that are useful to know. The Pandas data science library will be used here and there, so it's helpful if you know that already. We'll also be working entirely from Jupyter notebooks, so if you're not familiar with those, it would be helpful to start to take a look at them. And then if you are familiar with SQL, we will make some comparisons between SQL and MongoDB as we go along, but that's entirely optional. So the goals of this course are to understand unstructured data, which is very typical of new big data sources, and why NoSQL databases such as MongoDB make sense. You'll be familiar with the PyMongo API, and you'll be able to execute queries against MongoDB databases from your Python code. You will understand the Spark framework for distributed computing, and also the key data structures within Spark. And finally, you will see what a typical data science pipeline looks like, and you'll be able to adapt these and begin to use them in your own work.